Hey everybody, this is Curtis from PSNStores.com. Today we're going to take a look at The Final Station. This is a kind of post-apocalyptic zombie. I guess zombie is probably the appropriate term for this game. Um, Post-apocalyptic zombie with a train simulator kind of deal going on too. So we are basically a train conductor, and so our task is to just keep this train rolling. Um, there is a story here, so we are actually at the very beginning of Act 3. I believe there's 5 acts, but I started here because getting the first act is kind of, there's not a lot of good stuff going on. It's very uneventful. You're not really seeing, there's no guns at all. There's not really any combat. It's mostly just stuff that's happening on the train and some exploration. So I figured this would be a good place to jump in at because I'm at a point in the game now where I feel like it's introduced most of the mechanics to me. So here we are. This is typically how the game loop starts. We reach a new kind of settlement or a new town, and we start out, and basically in order to leave, we need to find the codes to enter into this code box. Now, that's not the only thing we'll want to do. That's like the required thing, but you're also going to want to go and like find survivors. Any survivors you find, they can come and they can get on the train with you, and as you'll see later, it's our job to make sure that they survive on that train. So here's kind of this opening little building here. I've already kind of explored it, found a couple things. So you see along the bottom, that's my health. Currently, I have no med kits, but I do have 24 ammo for just my handgun, and then I've got a shotgun too, which I have some ammo for as well. So we're just gonna explore a little bit. We'll see what happens. So basically, we kind of go left to right. Anything that gets highlighted with a white outline, that is something that we can interact with. So let's see, Mike. There's still a problem with the school cook. We need 1 more month to get him on board. If this can't wait, our only option left is to eliminate him. So you'll find notes and newspaper clippings throughout the world. One of my complaints, we'll say, is they don't, with a couple exceptions, a lot of the text is very tiny. Now, luckily, I'm in a situation where I sit at my desk, and so I'm not super far away from my TV, so I can kind of read it. But even still, it's pretty tiny. So if you sit far away from a TV, I can see that being really, really hard to read. You'll probably have to kind of get in close to read this stuff. So here are our enemies. It's kind of set up to be a mystery of like no one really knows what happened or what they are, where they came from. The game begins and it's like the 106th year since the first I don't remember the term for it. It's like first invasion. I don't think they use the word invasion though. It's like the first encounter or something. And so there's kind of this element of like, well, is it aliens? Is it, what exactly is it? And now I did, oh god. Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is real bad. Okay. Luckily the checkpoint system in this game is pretty nice. But anyways, I did recently come across something that shined a bit more light on maybe what's going on, but I don't wanna spoil anything. So we can pick up these boxes. We can throw them at enemies. That will one-shot enemies, which is really nice, especially for those that kind of rush in at you. Let's see what we got here, if there's anything useful. Gunpowder, rags, and screws. Okay. So a lot of like the little stuff you'll pick up will just be currency. It'll be something that's like, oh, I found this, and that equates to like $6 or something. There's not a lot of shops. Usually each act will be like, okay, you need to get to this place. And in doing so, you'll go through about 4 or 5 different settlements or different towns, and then once you reach that main location, that's where all of your passengers will get off. You'll get rewarded for any passengers that survived. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. And then there will be shops that you can go to, and you can buy med kits, you can buy different supplies, anything that you might need. So that's why I started off with a decent amount of ammo. Typically, you don't have like 20 some bullets. Now, I'm also not being super conservative with my weapons right now, so you can punch, and if you're loading your shotgun, you kind of have like you can hit them with the back of the gun. So if you hold circle, you can kind of charge it. But since I'm low on health, I'm not gonna risk anything right now. Anything you pick up, like this toilet here, I can carry with me as I walk through doors and up and down stairs and ladders and whatnot. I got a med kit, good. You just need to be careful because when you throw it, it's gonna break. So, but luckily they let you carry it and also interact with different objects as that's happening, and use med kits. It's locked. Let's try this. Alright. Nothing in there. Got him. Alright. So far I'm not seeing any survivors. Not gonna read. See, that's like the problem, is because it's so tiny and just like kind of a pain to read. I've just found myself skipping anything like that. And then I'll read through anything that seems important, and some of that might be important. I don't know. Most of it's just been kind of flavor text, kind of backstory stuff, but nothing too vital. It just sucks that the text is so small. I get it, you know, this was out on PC, so I'm sure that a lot of this was probably designed with the thought that most people would just be playing on a computer, you know, at a desk close to a monitor, but it does kind of suck now that it's on console. Do not forget to give the key to the kitchen staff before leaving. Now that it's on console, it's, you know, it's not adapted. That element isn't adapted. And there's a couple other things that we'll see once we get back to the train, because there are a couple other things that I don't really like how it's done. I think it probably could have been changed up a little bit for the PS4 version, but it was not. I will continue digging a tunnel to his house tomorrow. There's not much further to go now. I think we can have the wire trap in place by Tuesday at the latest. Okay. Oh, jeez. Alright. We can... Got it. Okay. So typically progression, shelter status closed. Unidentified objects. Okay. Typically progression through these areas is done in such a way that you're not gonna find the train codes until you've gotten to the end, or you've gone through most of it. And then there's some like little side areas that you can find some hidden stuff, and usually that's where people are hiding. Towards the beginning of the game, you would just find people out in the open, just like sitting there. Last bomb. Amanda, I sent Jonas to base A1 under the Metropole. I hope they'll teach him how to behave. P.S. Erase the writing. Huh, okay. But the further I've gotten, the more people have started like hiding from these creatures now that they're a bit more prevalent. Oh crap, I didn't reload. I totally meant to use that, barrel, but... Can I just throw it? Too big of an explosion. Okay. Like I said, luckily the checkpointing in this has been very, very nice. And that's actually maybe for the better, because now I can just reload from here and do it this way. I can just chuck it in that room. That works. Kind of. Railway key medkit. And there's our code. Finally. No survivors here. Or at least it didn't seem like it. I know there's a couple little passages there that we didn't go up. So let's see, just in case. Sometimes you will find people and they will just straight... Oh, there we go. Don't shoot. Metropole. Thank God. I'm in. Alright, so he'll be on the train for us. Sometimes you'll find people and they just straight up won't go with you. The last place I was in, I found a room and there was like four different people that were just kind of like bunkered in there, and they were like, a couple of them had guns, they were ready to go just in case, and two of them actually stayed behind. I think one was injured and couldn't move, and the other one was like, no, I'm okay. I'll be fine. You take the others. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, not everyone was super willing to tag along. So let's enter our code. That is 9865. Let's get on this train. Now, there's a number of things going on as the train is moving. They're all mostly pretty simple things you need to keep in mind, but we'll go over them as quickly as I can. So, okay, here are our two passengers. We got Adam Miller. His health and his hunger are pretty low, so we might need to take care of that. And then we got Alan Yates, who is about to die, so we should do something about that. First, let's give him food. If their hunger meter is all the way down, their health would just start draining. So let's go ahead and give him food. That way his hunger is satisfied, and then we'll give him a med kit because he's probably in more dire need of one. Now, Adam Miller, we'll try to take care of you in a second. There is this thing right here. It's basically a little mini game. It's got a green check next to it, so it's fine. Sometimes these are electrical systems like this one right here that go haywire. So this particular thing, we just need to kind of even out these bars. Each of these is kind of one. Then we have this where our food and our med kits are stored, and this is kind of a main little area here. We can go into these text bubbles here. There's a bunch of different people. It's like basically a messenger chat. Some have no connection, some are offline. This guy, Tim Lanning, he's online. Tim, please, any news from the north? I'm sorry, my friend. I'm stuck in Metropole. They didn't let anyone out of here. Council still silent? Or where's the president? We'll go, where's the president? Or what does the president say? Oh, you haven't heard? Raven White disappeared a couple of days ago. The council is ruling the country now. Oh, wow. Okay. So that happened. And we can check this. This is going to show kind of our battery stuff. So again, this thing went down. So let's go ahead and check it. Let's fix that up. When this stuff happens, this could potentially stop the train from moving. So you want to keep that in mind. Here is our little crafting area. And this is one of the things I don't really care for. So med kits, and then different ammo supplies. If we go to med kit, we can't craft that. How about ammo? We can craft ammo. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what exactly I'm highlighting. Like if I'm actually highlighting the craft button or not. So sometimes I accidentally hit X, and sometimes, you know, I back out. And then also we can go all the way down. And this is the map, so this is how far I've traveled so far. But I have arrived at the station, so I'm going to go ahead and hit that. That way no one dies or anything. And now here we are at the next area. And that's kind of how this game goes. It continues going through that loop as you go town to town, village, different settlements, wherever the train tracks take you, as it were. In this case, looks like maybe a little farm area. So we'll go through a little bit of this, and then we'll close it out. Can you take a day off? Tell your boss we have an anniversary. I can't. He left early today. He said he has important business at the port. He seems to be going there quite often. See, that's the thing, is like sometimes because of just how small the text is, there are certain letters that can appear like different letters. Like some letters look like H's can look like W's, kind of deal. That can be kind of annoying. So it'd be nice if that stuff was a little bit bigger, especially now that it's on my console, and you know, not everyone's going to be sitting right in front of their TV. Oh, look at this thing right here. Whoa. Huh. Now these situations, usually if you wait long enough, they'll kind of move in such a way that you can peek back out and get some shots off real quick if need be. The dreams are recurring. My next goal is Bristol. I've heard an old man who saw the first contact lives there. If I can meet him, I'm sure he can help me to move on. So that old man is actually someone I just talked to before recording this video. He gave me some interesting information, to say the least. Alright, got him. So we'll go a little bit farther, but yeah, this is the final station. It is out now, it's on PS4, I believe it's $10. Told Jack that I'm not planning to lend him my car. I only have one and I worked my butt off to get it. Well, those taxis, the X, looks real blurry on this TV. Don't they have taxis in Bristol? I guess not. I was just there. Maybe they did. I don't know. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I think really most of my issues come in the form of like UI stuff. I think you know, the text being really tiny and in certain circumstances, and also like I was looking at the crafting menu, the shops are the same deal. Like sometimes it's kind of hard to tell what you're actually highlighting, and just like navigating them and controlling them is not super great. It's not awful, it's not the worst thing ever, but it could be a lot better, I think. And I imagine this is something that was probably all controlled with just, you know, pointing a mouse at the button and clicking it on a PC. And so using an analog stick to control it is not great at all. So I wish that was maybe changed to better suit a controller. But other than that, the actual game itself is pretty interesting. I think some of the stuff on the train, maybe it's just because I haven't had a whole lot of passengers at any given time. I mean, I did have like 5 at the end of Act 2, so that was getting to the point where it's a bit more complicated. But when you just have like 1 or 2 passengers, it can be kind of dull. Like I found myself wishing that some of those little, like, we'll call them mini games, were maybe a bit more complicated, or maybe there was a bit more to them. But other than that, it's a really interesting game. I'm gonna keep playing it. I'm curious where the story goes. because I think there's only 5 acts, so I don't know how much longer I really have. I've only been playing for about an hour or two, so seems like maybe a pretty short game, but it's an interesting one nonetheless. So if this is something that interests you. It is available on PS4 for, again, I think it's about $10. So you can check it out there. But thank you for watching as always, and until next time, I'll see you later.